2 programs, 2 levels, 1 system, and this month,
everything starts.
Welcome to 3 over 2 Hoops. I'm Coach Jessica Deliba.
I'm Coach Bob Belf, and we would like to introduce you to the system.
Welcome back to 3 over 2 Hoops. I'm Coach Jessica Deliba.
I'm Coach Bob Belf. I think they should just be so happy they're getting another episode from us because it is gorgeous outside and we have sacrificed ourselves in this Michigan garbage spring to be inside to give you another episode. I tease. But we want to talk about preparation for next year. That is what we're aiming for in this one. We have some revelations on certain parts of what we did this year. As we talked about reflection. We talked about things we might change, etc. in the last episode. But I think we are always looking for a better way to be ready for next year. What can we do? So we want to talk weight room. We want to talk about conditioning. We want to talk about basketball itself and those 3 areas and see what we can do. Just to cover us, one of the things that I have done a poor job with, and I will admit this, is losing our conditioning level in the second part of the semester because I've been so focused on recovery. And partially I'm focused on recovery because every single year I have 1 or 2 or even 3 people hurt that have been dealing with certain things, and maybe because of our facility, etc. But back injuries, knee injuries, things where we're trying to recover for them. I had a young lady this year who we had at Alpena do an interview with us, and I don't think she practiced with us second semester more than 4 times in the entire semester, which is 8 weeks, which is pretty amazing in that regard. I think so. A conditioning aspect has to be taken care of, not just preseason, but during season. I also found that our kids were very focused on the weightlifting. Now, Coach was in charge of weightlifting with our group. They religiously did it, and that helped us a ton. And they continued it through the entire season. So I was very pleased with that. So all right, so let's go back to high school, and then of course us at junior college per se at all, on how you want to focus, what you want to lay out in the summer, and how you're looking at it as a player, but coaching a player.
I would say the biggest thing conditioning-wise in the summer is you got to keep them off their feet. So whether it's rowing machine, cycling, fan bike, swimming if you have it, sand pits. I mean, you can come up with many different conditioning items to get them in shape. I also think it's more about heavy lifting in the summer, like more weight, more reps, because in the season you just can't do all that or else you'll crash. So I would say definitely more focus on different types of conditioning, but also heavy lifting to get them stronger. Because, I'm sorry, at the junior college level, you're coming out of high school, you're going to go against some big girls because there are kids in junior college level that are trying to go play Division I. It might not be everyone, but there are players that are trying to do that. So you're going to have higher level athletes, or maybe in their second season, that have already been through a year of competitive play.
All right, so let's break this down a little bit. Now, one of the things that, I'll talk about junior college in a second, but one of the things that we deal with is our athletes are all over the place. So I don't get to see them as often as I would like during the season. In high school, you've got the ability to see them 3 or 4 times a week. So let's start there. Okay, so they get done with school, and then immediately you're going to, obviously, playing is a crucial aspect, but skill level 2 games, how do you look at that?
I would say, you're saying specifically within high school?
Well, getting into a league or getting into stuff.
Yeah,
And they're playing AAU as well.
Yes. I mean, if you have high school kids that are playing AAU, that's going to be honestly the best for them. Of course, if you have some higher level athletes that are trying to get recruited, I think it's important to play in a couple big showcases that are popular in your area, because at the end of the day, that is the goal, is to get them to move on. But I'm not crazy about doing I don't really like the whole summer league where you play 2-3 times a week. I just sometimes I think it's a waste of time. I understand for the team bonding aspect and all that, but sometimes it's just unnecessary. Like, they're already playing too many games in AAU.
Well, I know that, like, the way it's laid out now, AAU's up till Memorial Day. Mm-hmm. Then June is high school. And then July is back to AAU.
And even with our level, we have one tournament for travel ball in June, because we're preparing for Nike Nationals in July.
Okay, which is, that's a challenge.
Yeah.
All right, so you got them on the court. Talk about skill level. Where do you kind of tipped on it in the last episode, but let's talk about it again in case those people aren't watching 2 episodes at once. Where do you focus your skill level? What do you think is the most important part to fit what we do?
I think you need ball handlers, and I think you need to work on passing. And catching. But definitely
feeding shooters.
Even just passing the ball up the court. I mean, you get so many steals in a game that you have to make a quick turnaround. So they have to know, boom, here, pass. Like, I don't think they're taught to play, coming from traditional, they're not taught to play as fast as we end up playing, especially by the end of the season. So getting them in that mentality, like, you need to pass the ball fast, you need to pass the ball hard. I mean, just working on literally fundamental skill is a big thing, but there's a lot of high school coaches that don't want to spend the time and do that, because we're teaching them at the junior college level.
We try. I think that as I go recruit kids and I watch kids play, the thing I'm always looking for in a pass, the kid that can pass the basketball, is the message on the pass. Are you making passes that create a shot? Mm-hmm. Does it create an opportunity? Or are you just passing the ball to get rid of it?
Right.
Which is 95% of what I watch in high school level. Just drives me crazy. They just throw the ball and throw it back to the same kid. Why did you give it to her? It's like there has to be a message, there has to be a purpose to everything we're doing. And it's one of the things that we really focus hard on at our level is the message on the ball.
I mean, even as simple as, even if the point is driving in and you got a player on the wing and they don't fade to the corner, or if they're in the corner and they don't lift to the wing, it's like, okay, so you don't even understand, like, simple how to play without the ball even. Like that's something simple that we see, but you watch it all the time recruiting. Why are you just standing there?
Why you just did? I think I've said that a million times, because both teams are playing zone, and all we're doing is walking up and standing there. Yeah. I'm like, oh my Lord, there should be a bus coming right through the middle of the court, because picking up people, because that's all we're looking at is bus stops. It's amazing. It's the mosh pit mentality. I drives me nuts. Run up the floor, everybody's in a group like a mosh pit, and then something happens, and we jog up the floor down here, and we do it again down here. Just can't watch it.
What would you say, Coach Belf, after running the system so long, that what do you think in the summer is the biggest skills that you need to work on?
Well, I think obviously to get kids touching the basketball, I want them to shoot. I need them to understand. If you're coming from the high school level to the college level, that is the Grand Canyon of the 2 arcs. And I think that those kids need to really focus on their range and be better shooters, just because I think all our freshmen are weak and struggle with. If you take a look at our percentages, our freshmen are really struggling in their percentages from the arc compared to our sophomores.
Could that also be because they're not in the weight room?
Very much.
in high school.
I think we had talked about this already once, but we're going to talk about it again, is laying out a lifting program for them where they're located. They got to find some place to get in and do some stuff, or maybe doing a little more self-weight, personal body weight workouts, just something to get them a little better shape. I think our freshmen to sophomores already understand this, and they're already focused on it, and they're already asking. They want to get in. Can we do this? Can we do this? But those incoming freshmen, don't have an idea. They don't have a clue. That's a challenge. Now, for example, I'm having a hard time getting any of our incoming freshmen right now in the gym as we did last year because they're in high school and they're still in school and they're still involved in whatever spring sport they're in. And coach, I can't make it. I got to rearrange my sock drawer that day. It's incredible sometimes how we find ways not to be there. So I think that just a matter of doing more things on their own is important. How much will they do? How much will they go through? I don't know. But I went to an open gym the other day, and in the gym was 2 high school seniors and a girl that played 2 years at junior college. And to watch her be frustrated with the way everybody played, because after a year of physical and cutting and moving, and they all stood around like you're talking about, it was dry. She came over to me and asked me, can you bring another 8 people? Okay, let's get some competition here. Because you play at different levels as you move up, and you start to realize that high school kids are not ready for what you're doing.
It's very different, and they think they're very well prepared, and they're not.
Yes. All right, so we definitely want to put a weightlifting program in front of them. You want a little more heavy in the summer. When we get to them in the fall, when I get them here, or even when you went back to school, at high school, you would taper it to a little more.
Yeah, more sports specific, I would say. I mean, I did like fall league because that kind of gets them now playing together. I just think it's just like to compete 1 month in June and then they don't do anything July and August. Those that don't play
go to
travel
the pool.
ball. Yeah, but I just think the kids that are committed and want to win, and even if they don't want to play college basketball, they will show up and they will find a way to get there.
Okay.
Yeah, but fall league, obviously you're limited to 4-player workouts in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have open gyms, you just can't coach during them. But you can open the gym for them. So it's.
They can't coach at open gym. Boy, that's one of the hardest things of all time to watch, isn't it? You're chewing on your arm because you want to talk.
I know.
Okay, so how about, like, you're coaching AAU right now, and you're running a version of the system. How do you feel about kids playing the system in the summer versus something else in the summer? Because a lot of these college kids will get in leagues or play open gyms,
right,
things like that. But
I just think it also depends on your situation. It depends how many you have on your travel team. It depends what type of kids you have. I mean, we have 2 injuries to 2 of my post players right now, and I have all guards all over again. It's like Groves again. So it's like and we're playing on the Nike circuit. So I coach for a Nike EYCL team here in Michigan crossover. And it's kind of like, even though it's EYCL, it might not be EYBL. There are some teams that are trying to get into the EYBL, and they have 6'3", 6'4" girls, and I'm coaching 17U. So it's, they're taking this very seriously. They're trying to get recruited. So it's like, how do you, my tallest girl is 5'10" right now because my 2 bigs are hurt. 3 bigs are hurt. So it's like, I have to be creative in that sense. I think it's harder to teach it during travel ball because you typically only practice 2, maybe 3 times. And then you got kids traveling from all over. I have one player that travels 2.5 hours to come to practice. So it's like, it's difficult to teach it, but you're also teaching higher IQ players because this is usually the best player from every high school. So they do pick stuff up faster, and it's just about explaining, like, you guys are going to have to learn on the fly a little bit here because it's, yeah. I mean, I think in travel ball already teams press a lot more. I think they play a lot faster. I mean, we're playing, the one interesting thing is I am playing with a shot clock, these Nike tournaments. Even though it's EYCL, we play with a shot clock. We play 4 8-minute quarters, stop clock, college rules. It's pretty close to the college game that you can get. So it's a little different. It's not just, 16 minutes, 2 halves, running clock, how most tournaments do.
I know. I'm dying to ask you a question based on something you just said that doesn't fit what we're talking about. So this is, again, we do this all the time.
I know.
Shot clock. That is a very interesting topic right there.
Yeah.
All right. So, I know that, I know when Coach Dave and I talked about this a lot when our kids would leave to go play in the summer, he didn't necessarily want them to play any system oriented because, like you said, he felt the pace would be fast enough in these leagues. Competition was going to be physical, but he also wanted them to come back to campus and couldn't wait to play the system. So how do you attack if you're playing league games in the summer? Let's say you go and you play out in a couple places. How do you feel you want to do that? Do you press? Do you do what you do, or do you just kind of...
It's difficult.
I can lead you into that because I never did.
I think you have to put some pieces in, and it's not about, they're going to know what we're running, I think it's more, you want to, because in June for high school, you can coach. Per the rules, you are allowed to coach. So I think you do want to start incorporating some understanding, but they don't need to know the whole thing. You have so much practice time in high school. You have so much time to put everything in, I feel. Maybe not right at the beginning of the season, but you should schedule your games in a way that you have, and practices that you have enough time to put stuff in.
I never liked to press in the summer.
That's interesting.
I wanted to generate...
Because you did coach high school at some point.
I like to generate... If we could generate pace, decent pace, without pressing, I really felt that would be huge. Because obviously once you sprinkle that in, the pace just elevates immediately. So to me it was very important to get the ball out of the net or turn the ball over and let's go and get go. So if I could get that mentality without pressing, I thought that was important. Some got it, some don't. That was all part of it. There were kids that you had that were really good at the press that weren't so good in a little more 5-on-5 situation. So we played a lot more man-to-man and did stuff that we would probably never do in the season whatsoever. But I never thought that would be a bad thing either because of communication, the switching, the things that we did anyway. So that's how I attacked it. Now, we don't have too much of a problem with any of that. We're trying, at the junior classes right now, trying to get them in the gym as often as we can. And see if they can get a bond with each other and know each other.
Right.
Because we still have, all our kids work. All our kids are trying to do something to help pay for school, pay for their apartment, pay for all the things that requires to be at our level. And you have to be understanding to a point, but you also need to see them. Introduce yourself every now and then.
And I would be interested to hear from you guys, do you plan to, those system coaches out there, do you plan to run this in the summer? I would be very interested in their feedback.
I've been in touch with a couple coaches that we had talked about potentially getting together and doing some system stuff. It's a matter of finding the time and finding the distance between us to sit. I don't want to call it a clinic, but it's an opportunity for 3 or 4 coaches to sit down and talk about stuff. So what we were trying to put it in is do it at a tournament that maybe you're at, and then bring some people in, and maybe all of a sudden we're in Cincinnati or something to that effect, because They're from all over the Midwest, and so that would be an interesting way to go. We haven't talked Dave into a clinic in a while. That was been a long time since we've done something there. Anything else you want to add about things they need to be prepared for to come at this level? Or, your level. You got those ninth graders walking in, and they're like, and you had 3 freshmen this year contribute to your roster.
Yes.
One was a starter, if you will.
Yeah.
But how did you get them up to speed so quick?
I think honestly, they just loved basketball. Basketball wasn't her main sport, and she just wanted to be there. I think that's the biggest thing, is you want kids to buy in. It's funny, it all goes back to that. It's like you want them to love it and to want to get better. And I think, and it might be, and it's interesting now, again, reflecting, even though that was the last episode, so go check that out. But they knew they were going to play because of the system. So did that motivate them more to, hey, I got to work on stuff. I got to do stuff. Like, she's playing everyone,
I think it would have to.
And it's like, I know I'm getting in. You're not sitting on the end of the bench waiting to get subbed in. Is coach going to put me in this game?
No, I thought that was one of the best parts about practices, is that because they know they're going to play, they're all engaged.
Yeah.
They're all there to learn.
Yeah.
They're all involved with everything you're talking about. If you're talking about your opponent, or you're talking about certain things, or how we're going to change for this, they're into it and give suggestions at times, which is great. I give a lot of leeway to that. Like, how do you want to play this?
Yeah.
Because I do think sometimes buy-in comes from them.
Yeah.
They're saying, this is how we want to do stuff. We're walking into the buy-in part, and I think that's another episode.
That is.
We have an athletic director. We have chosen ours here. We would have talked to her in the last few days about coming on. So we do have an athletic director we'd like to get on here and talk about how she looked at it and what she sees and what she goes. But buy-in is going to be a part of that conversation, because it's a big issue right now, getting people involved. Playing time is half of your buy-in, without a doubt.
For sure. So, anything else to wrap this up?
No, I just like to see my kids longer. I don't know their last names. Just kidding. We thank you for this, because I think right now there's a lot of people that are trying to figure out where they want to go. We left it open enough that if you want to contact us, we'll give you an idea of what we do, or our lifting program, because that's where she's in charge of, or things like that, where all of a sudden we can talk about ideas that are good. We've had concerns along the way. I know Dave Arnold and I have talked about this a lot. Are you learning anything from playing games in the summer? It's a distinct question, because you might be better off just working on skills and getting in the gym and playing against yourselves. They might get bored with it, and maybe you do play a few just to get over that. But it's too easy for kids to hide. It's too easy for kids to just show up and not be a part and learning anything. And that has got to be a focus. If you're worried about winning in the summer, then you've missed the development.
Problem.
You've missed the development part all whatsoever. So it gets close, stick someone else a point guard who's never played it and see what happens.
Yes.
She's going to either sink or swim, and you need to find that out, or he, and find out what they can do, because it's important to put it on their plate, so you know where you are when you go in and what you got to work on.
For sure. So we thank you for tuning in. Leave us a like, drop a comment below, and we'll be back with more.